Fellow Nigerians, my name is Jackson Uday. I'm the Secretary General of the Coalition New Nigerian Diaspora Movement. With me here is the Director of Mobilization and Contact, Comrade Timmy Frank. In our determination to save Nigeria's democracy, deepen democratic institutions and values, protect our shared common interests, and protect the integrity of our country, the leadership of 30 different Nigerian diaspora organizations concluded a meeting that began 1 week ago to review the sham judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria on October 26, 2023, and demand that Bola Tinubu must resign to save the integrity of the Nigerian presidency. It is our belief that Mr. Tinubu not only rigged the 2023 presidential elections, but he does not possess the academic credentials to run for that election. Tinubu forged the Chicago State University degree certificate and as such committed forgery, for which he must be prosecuted. Tinubu is also a member of a drug cartel in the United States of America, as per the FBI document recently released. CNNDM has agreed that a reclaimed Nigerian diaspora protest, a peaceful protest, non-violent protest, will be held around the world to expose the criminality of Bola Tinubu and demand his immediate resignation. CNNDM agreed to help mobilize and support any group in Nigeria to join the movement and the 30 days mass peaceful protest of reclaiming Nigeria. CNNDM agreed that Nigerian Americans should begin reaching out to their congressmen and congresswomen and pressure them to push the U.S. Congress to begin an inquest on the 2023 presidential elections in Nigeria, the Chicago State University and Bola Tinubu certificate scandal, and why the FBI refused to prosecute Tinubu for all his crimes. CNNDM agreed to raise $10 million for the 30 days peaceful mass protests and litigation that is being planned against Bola Tinubu in the US for all his crimes. CNNDM demand from the EU, the UK, and the United States to, as a matter of urgency, place visa ban on all the justices and judges of the Appeal and Supreme Court who gave the sham judgment that legalized Bola Tinubu as president of Nigeria. CNNDM agreed to mandate the Contact and Mobilization Committee, headed by my comrade here beside me, Comrade Timmy Frank, to announce a date for the protest that will be held soon. This action, fellow Nigerians, is aimed at reclaiming Nigeria from the hands of criminals who have taken over that country. CNNDM believes that Mr. Bola Tinubu remains an illegitimate president of Nigeria on account of his drug crimes and certificate forgery, for which he refused to declare when he sought to run for the 2023 presidential elections. CNNDM agreed to continue to pile the necessary pressure locally and internationally, using all peaceful and legal means to force Bola Tinubu out of office. The group will mobilize Nigerians and protest in every country Bola Tinubu intends to visit to show to the world that he is a certificate forger, a drug criminal, and unfit to lead any nation. Nigeria must save itself. Nigerians must save Nigeria from criminal cartel. Enough is indeed enough.
Bodayaya, eating a humble pie, he congratulated Natasha Akpotsi by fire by force. We'll talk about that another time. To the FBI releasing part 1 of their folder on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? But guys, first of all, some lawmakers in Rivers State are trying to impeach their governor. Their new governor, the devil is a liar. Remember the drama 10 years ago in this same Rivers State? You know, anti-Amechi, pro-Amechi supporters. There was this fight between Amechi and Governor Wike. The devil is a liar. This whole Godfatherism is inante. Anyways, this video that we're about to play is from 10 years ago in this same Rivers State. Anti-Amechi, pro-Amechi lawmakers literally beat themselves up with the mace.
It was when the new speaker and member representing Ogubolo constituency, Evans BP, was about to deliver his inaugural address that the leader of the House of Assembly, Chidi Lloyd, walked in again.
Can you imagine Rivers lawmakers? Not only you are come, we have hoodlums in power. Now let's come back to 2023. This particular drama started with former Governor Wike while in office selecting an anointed predecessor, and of course he helped them to win. Now haven't we seen that happen in so many states in Nigeria? In Kwara State with Saraki Oloye, Governor Amosun of Ogun State, Akpabio of Akwa Ibom, and let's not forget Tinubu in Lagos State. Ambode suffered. Okorocha in Imo State.
My paper, my paper.
Did anybody ask you what is your problem? We are talking serious issue here. So it just never ends well, which is why I don't know why anybody still tries to force himself on the people as a godfather. Is it by fire, by force? Of course, they always have to pay back the so-called godfather after winning an election. Like right now, there are allegations, for example, that before becoming the governor, that same Fabura promised to pay some billions of naira, yada yada yada, to Minister Wike. Although Minister Wike has denied that he's not hungry for money, that is not why they are fighting. Actually, did he really deny it? Anyway, we'll come back to that later. Now, that time during the election, Channels TV asked former Governor Wike, what happens if your anointed should turn on you when he becomes the governor? And Governor Wike said,
we've seen successors turn against their predecessors in politics.
Yes, yeah.
Would you be worried if that happens to you?
Why? Is he serving me? Was he born to serve me? He wanted to serve the state. The problem we have, our leaders have, is that look, you succeeded in supporting the person to be in office, right? What you did, is it for him to fail or to succeed?
However, after becoming the governor of Rivers State, Fabura decided not to go with the terms that he had with former Governor Wike. In fact, he wants to get rid of Godfather. The man started firing people that are loyal to Governor Wike. Who? Father. Meanwhile, there's a prophet in the land, in the person of my very own father, that is former Governor Ayodele Fayoshe, who had seen the future. The man had seen the future. The man had prophesied that Wike's trouble is real trouble.
My counsel is to you. God will help you. Don't see more than what you are supposed to see. The moment you want to see more than you are supposed to see, you begin to see spirit. I know Wike. Now, if he say he will fight you, it's either you surrender or you look for that trouble to the end. God will not find you Wike's problem.
And that is what is happening right now, my people. Governor Fayoshe, how did you know such a prophet? So now lawmakers in River States that are loyal to former Governor Wike decided to impeach Fabura. And in fact, they've started the impeachment process. Meanwhile, some people decided to go and bomb the State House of Assembly in River State. I was like, wait, how did we get here? This is the one that is really messing with the peripheral level of the photosynthesis of my mind. That some people will go and bomb the State House of Assembly last Sunday. You already know that it is taxpayers' money that they will use to rebuild that building. And so far, nobody has been arrested. Meanwhile, when the governor went to check out the explosion at the State House of Assembly the next day, some police officers sprayed the governor and his convoy with water cannons. And they shot tear gas at the governor. A sitting governor. Meanwhile, the governor, while narrating what happened when they sprayed him with the water, the man said they shot at him directly.
We have gone to the assembly to see for ourselves what has happened. On my way there, I was shot at directly
by the OC operation, or DC, or whatever they call him, directly.
Okay, he's alive, so maybe not directly, but you get the gist. It reminds me of another former governor, like that, who said they shot at him.
I am in severe pain.
The devil is a liar. Governor Fayose, who did this to you?
I was slapped by a policeman who kicked me and shot at me.
First of all, why do you keep interrupting me? Kolido, you will not hijack my show. You must respect me.
Since President Tinubu got in,
respect me.
Mind yourself. So, a lot of people in Rivers are supporting the new governor, for kicking against Godfatherism. They are hailing him, They are very, very happy. At the same time, I've seen some comments online like, oh, if not for Wike, who knew Fabura? He's biting the hand that made him. I was like, woo, shoo. So, PDP governors went to see former Governor Wike, and that's exactly what he wants, my people. He wants people to be coming, to be begging him, committee upon committee, and this is what he said.
I'm not interested in all the rumors, money, this and that. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I just left office how many months ago? I'm an FCT minister. Which money? But nobody can take away our political structure.
So he's not denying being responsible for the chaos. According to him, this is about maintaining power, the structure that he puts in place, Also, some representatives of the people from Delta went to appease him. The whole thing, again, was a joke. They went there praising him and stroking his ego. And so he also played politics with them. He didn't confirm the allegations, but he also didn't deny it. He just spoke in parables.
All of us want to be politically relevant. All of us want to maintain our political structure. Everybody has a base, it's not true. Yes, sir. If you take my base, I'm not politically relevant.
Wow, I'm tired. I'm like, seriously. So Wike doesn't want to become irrelevant, according to him, in Rivers State, even though he's no longer the governor. But who says you have to be in control for you to be relevant? Relevance comes with having positive impact on people. Like, people will always remember, oh, you were the one that did this. It comes with having a legacy, doing well by the people, doing good. That is how you will always be relevant and not become irrelevant. It is not by trying to hold on to power. I mean, for real Nigerians, for how long would people need a godfather before they can present themselves as a candidate and actually win an election in Nigeria? And if they refuse to go with a godfather, all hell breaks loose. Why is that? Don't we think that something is fundamentally wrong with that? I mean, we'll talk about Kogi in another video, but one of the reasons that Auntie Natasha suffered so much is because she refused to allow Yaya Bello to be her godfather. Yes, I mean, he tried so hard to make his anointed candidate the senator or the next governor, and he failed. So the question is, can people make a difference in Nigeria if they don't go through a godfather? Are we there yet? Are we ready? You know what? We need my uncle to summarize this whole Rivers Wawulens.
The political krinkum, or if you like, the political higgy-haga that has enveloped the politics of Rivers State for a period of time now, has all the trappings of an odoriferous saga. Kum gagatwan gaga.
Wow. My God. I mean, you never know if he's speaking in tongues or he's speaking in English.
As candidates for the November 11th gubernatorial elections in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo States continue to campaign vigorously, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, who is campaigning for a second term in office, promised to create jobs, provide Medicare, and restore the school system in the state during his campaign rally over the weekend. Well, let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
We are going to intensify all efforts to bring prosperity to Imo State. I will create jobs. I will bring Medicare. I will restore our school system. I will make the teaching profession more meaningful. I will get teachers to come and choose to teach as a choice, not because of lack of jobs. We will do all this. All you owe me on the 11th of this month, Go India. Cast your vote, vote for APC.
Dr. Abati, there's something about creating jobs with Governor Hope Uzodinma, but of course he's come under fire on social media because people are saying this is not the rhetoric we need to hear. It's not about creating jobs. It's about what you have done during your tenure and how you can improve on it. If you recall, he also came under fire recently when he talked about creating having 4,000 Imo indigents go abroad for jobs. Dr. Abati, quickly.
Well, it's political season, and I can understand where those who are criticizing him are coming from. Like, okay, if you are campaigning for second term, you should engage at the level of what you've been able to achieve. But the truth of the matter is that, look, a few days to election, what you do as a politician, I've said it on this program, is that constantly, continuously, you must give the people hope. And his own name is Hope. So that's precisely what he's doing there, giving people hope. No politician will ever stop giving people hope. Whatever he may have done, he will also tell them that he will do more. And we have had some guests on this program who came to speak on his behalf, well, you know, because they were pro-Hope Uzodinma. And they were talking about his rehabilitation of the other palm plantation. They were talking about infrastructure that he has provided. I'm sure that if he's called to task and asked to list what he has done, recovery of markets around Owerri and all that, he will have something to also say. But it's for the people, when they go to the polls on Saturday, to decide whether he deserves a second term or not. It's not. We will not be the ones to decide in that regard. But certainly, a man whose name is Hope Uzodinma, I don't think we should call him to task for giving the people hope, even if he does it 1,000 times.
Yes, he's provided hope. I like that. Rufai, let me take this story. We'll take another story, this time in the United Kingdom, where Nigeria's former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dezani Alison Madueke, is said to have asked for prayers over an alleged multi-million pounds bribery and corruption case instituted against her by the UK National Centre Crime Agency. The former minister appeared before a judge along with two others during the plea and trial preparation hearing last week. According to her lawyer, Desiani is anxious for the case to be heard. She wants the case to be over so that she can move on with her life. Madueke, who is due in court in February next year, is alleged by the NCA to have benefited in cash and kind for the awards of multi-million pounds worth of oil and gas contracts while serving in former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration before 2010 and 2015. Well, Desiani's case is coming as the presidency announced on Friday that France will return $150 million looted by former Nigerian military leader General Sani Abacha. The announcement was made following a visit by the Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, Catherine Colonna, who said the repatriation followed the completion of legal processes. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended France for the decision. I mean, this was trending over the weekend, Rufai. I mean, because they would just say General Sani Abacha is the ancestor that keeps giving. $150 million. This is what we need at this point. Let's just keep getting our money back. I mean, Nigeria needs prayers more than anything as well. Go ahead.
I mean, so a couple of things. When I saw the story about somebody needing prayers as regards the corruption case, the truth is, you know, we have built a society where we have a culture of too much religiosity, which is not a bad thing. But the question is, even when we are being tried for things that we could have prevented. So if she's asking for prayers, you will have wondered, why didn't she pray that God should not make her in such a position where this case will happen in the first place? So why we have a society where you are being, you know, indicted for corruption, where you could have avoided? And this is not the only case. They've had many cases against the Nigerian authorities. So it goes back to the culture we've built. We are very religious, but the question is, do we believe in God? Can we really obey the commandments of God despite the fact that we claim to be religious? Because this is the only country that people claim to be religious, but a lot of atrocities go on. People steal, they take stolen money, they go to church and raise up holy hands in one accord, and we collect that money. and we think we're fooling God. Concerning the Abacha case, and it's good to link it, the question is, why have we built a society where we have a culture of impunity that those that were indicted at some point in the Abacha case many years ago are still looming large today? So we've built a society where it looks as though that you have to be corrupt to make it in Nigeria. There are many people that were mentioned as regards this Abacha loot and theft that are serving in government in many capacities. Somebody once wrote an article on VO News Engine, and he asked a very question Samuel Lulu. He said, so what if Abacha had not died? That means all of this wealth will be in a private hand, and he'll still be able to administer all of these monies. Secondly, he asked, what was very porous about our system that a leader could steal this much at the time that Nigeria was bleeding? Until today, we don't know the amounts. The amount returned thus far is in the range of $3 or $4 billion by one person already.
Insane, Rufai.
So, apart from this, how about the other top military brass guys that stole during his time, but the money is still held privately? And since we return to democracy, how about people that keep stealing in the system, that the money is still being held privately? So, Oji, like I always say, culture will build strategy for breakfast. See, we've built a culture that supports corruption, that supports stealing, and it's as if you're respected based on how much you steal. But the question is, I think it's time for us to really examine the heads of our leaders. If it's not a level of madness, what do you need this amount of humongous wealth for? In Abacha's case, he finally died and left it behind.
Somebody once told me, nobody ever remembers a wealthy person. You only remember those that have created impact.
And that's the thing
Always
about
remember
life.
that.
So, well, I think it's a clarion call on all of us to get our heads examined.
Absolutely.
But as we're saying all of this, some people are still stealing. That when you hear the revelation of what they've stolen, you'll be shocked.
Well said.
But it's also the system and the country that supports it because of our culture.
Let's take another story. We'll come back to you. Well, following the ministerial retreat, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu threatened to ease out underperforming ministers from his cabinet last week, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, at a one-day stakeholders meeting in Lagos, told CEOs of agencies under his ministry who failed to perform and deliver on their task that he would fire them to save his job. The minister reiterated that he had signed a performance bond during the three-day retreat and wouldn't want to be sacked for underperforming. Keyamo's warning came as a private jet, which departed the Federal Capital Territory on Friday, November 3rd, crash-landed just before the runway at the airport in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The jet was operated by Flint Aero and reportedly had 10 persons on board, including Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu. No deaths were recorded, but the aircraft was substantially damaged. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau is said to have commenced an investigation into the case of the incident. However, there have been reports indicating that the aircraft had no permission to operate commercial charter flights because it is said to have been registered under the permit for non-commercial flights. Dr. Abati, your chance. I mean, this is the report that has been circulating, and you've seen those documents online saying that, you know, this actual flight did not have the right permit to fly.
Well, this is the kind of culture of impunity that you find in Nigeria, whereby people just do whatever and they get away with it.
Yeah.
This is not the first time that we will have this kind of incident and we'll be told the particular aircraft involved had no license for commercial flights.
Unacceptable.
But we can sit down today and talk. About 10 passengers were in that aircraft, 3 crew members. Now, if it had gone the other way, we would just have lost those lives, just because somebody is not paying enough attention. And it is a good thing that, the people there survived. Not just the minister who was on board, but all the persons, because every life is important. I've been seeing some of the reports making it seem as if it's only the minister that is important. No, every life is important, and this should not happen. Now, when we had Professor Okonkwo of the United Airlines, discussing aviation generally, it's not his company that is involved. He was saying that, look, part of the problem they have at that Laduke Akintola airport, that, look, when an aircraft wants to land, there are lights on the runway. But many of our airports don't have, those necessary lights for proper landing. And that is why many of the airports, you can't land there in the evening. You can't go there. You can't take off from there early in the morning. So these are things that the Minister of Aviation should pay attention to. And this is one case that has come up.
Yes.
The Safety Investigation Bureau, well, usually after every accident of this nature, they will say they are investigating. But more often than not, we don't get to hear the outcome, get to know what the outcome is. I think that Festus Keyamo should pay attention to this. And then, you know, he's saying that all the various agencies under the ministry that do not perform, you know, that the heads of those agencies will be asked to leave. However, Professor Okonkwo also made one point that some of these agencies are governed by ICAO rules, and that the minister, while trying to ensure performance, should not overstep the limit. Now, the other issue about Abacha, when you said the ancestor that keeps giving.
Yeah.
Now, at the initial point, it was estimated that the Abacha loot will be around $5 billion.
Can you imagine that?
One man taking $5 billion out of Nigeria. Do you know what that $5 billion could do? And we've been repatriating, we've been getting back the looted funds since 1998, when Abacha died. There was a $300 million that came from the British dependency of Jersey. There was another $20 billion that came from the UK. There was $321 million that came from Switzerland. There have also been loot that have been repatriated from Germany, from Liechtenstein. There is a place called Liechtenstein. At a time, they sent money back to Nigeria. Now France is repatriating $150 million. Only God knows where this Abacha loot is still operating. Maybe by the time my grandchildren begin to enter primary school, they too will be hearing that Abacha loot is coming. However, one guy went to court in July asking the Tinubu administration to tell us the exact amount in total that, you know, Nigeria has collected back from the Abacha loot, so that there is accountability. Otherwise, we'll just keep hearing these figures. You know, we need to know how much was recovered and what has been done with the returned loot.
Right. Rufai, a quick point about the jet that crashed, really quickly.
I mean, it's quite very sad that this has happened again, but it goes back to the cultural problem. The question you should ask is, Oji, how do you have a jet that was not certified for, like, private charter commercial travel to be used for commercial travel? And there are evidence there. The Guardian took that story today. In fact, they even have the slip there and the certification they made for the jet. So apart from the other problems as regards, you know, landing gear, I mean, what's it called? Landing apparatus in the airport and upgrading the airport. And there's a need to upgrade the airport because that airport is long enough. I remember that airport very dear to my heart because I remember when it was about to be built there, my mom, there in her life in the 80s, you know, acquired a property around there because they thought that that airport was going to be the big deal around there, around Alakia area. So it saddens my heart that that airport has not really lived up to the pride of place.
Unacceptable.
But it goes back to the culture of that aviation sector. And look at what happened also recently as regards water being in a tank and things like that. So there are many problems. We just have to fix our problems.
Culture in our aviation sector, but you know, it's not doomsday after all.
No, it's not doomsday.
It's not doomsday for
our airlines, I must have to repeat, pass very good Akara records and very safe.
Absolutely.
But when we have things that we should talk about them too.
Absolutely.